today's video. Today we are talking about animals and animals. Let's begin. First, I want you to think about some animals that you find interesting. Please write 5 reasons why you think these animals are interesting. They can be real or mythological animals. Okay, we're going to share in class. Now, we're going to listen and number the animals that we have here. We have a penguin, an Arctic tern, a bear, and a groundhog. Let's listen and number.
Page 42, Unit 4, Amazing World. Lesson A, Animal Behavior. 1. Vocabulary in context. B. Listen and read the excerpts from a nature documentary. Complete the photo captions with these words. A. Breeding. B. Hibernation. C. Migration. Animal behavior.
Every September, the Arctic tern leaves its breeding grounds in the Arctic and heads south to the Antarctic. When it arrives back in the Northern Hemisphere the next summer, it will have flown an average 70,000 kilometers, almost 44,000 miles, which means by the end of its 30-year lifespan, the Arctic tern will have flown the equivalent of 3 round trips to the moon.
In order to survive the winter months, many small mammals store food before they go into hibernation. Groundhogs, however, build up their fat reserves and then dig a burrow where they hibernate until spring. By the time the groundhog is in its deep sleep, its heartbeat will have dropped from 80 to 4 beats per minute, and its body temperature will have fallen to only a few degrees above the outside temperature. By the time spring arrives, if it has not been attacked by predators, the groundhog will have been hibernating for almost 6 months.
After mating, a female emperor penguin lays a single egg before returning to the ocean, where she feeds and spends the winter. Penguins don't build nests. Instead, the male emperor balances the egg on his feet, huddling together with other males in the colony to keep warm. By the time the females return, these male penguins will have been protecting the eggs for 65 days. They won't have eaten for 115 days and will have lost nearly half of their body weight. Once the eggs hatch, the females feed and raise the young, while the males head to the ocean to feed.
Okay, so if you notice, there is an animal that is extra, right? The bear. Now, you should have the Arctic tern as number 1. Number 2 was the groundhog, and number 3, the penguin. Did you get this right? Perfect. Now, here I have some of the vocabulary that was from the audio. Please match it to its meaning. Pause the video while you work on this. Okay, so a breeding ground refers to an area where animals reproduce. Build up reserves means to store goods or supplies. In this case, since we're talking about animals, we're talking about building up fat reserves usually. A colony refers to a group of animals. To dig a burrow is to make a small hole in the ground. Many small animals live in burrows. And feed is to give food to. Great. Now, once again, pause the video while you match this vocabulary. Okay, let's go ahead and check. So, hatch an egg means to emerge from an egg. Many birds or even some lizards are born this way. They hatch an egg. Hibernate means to spend the winter in a dormant state. To keep warm is to keep at a good temperature. You can keep yourself warm. However, you can also keep an animal, a person, or a thing warm. To lay an egg is to place eggs on the ground. And mate is to reproduce. Great. Now, one more time, pause the video while you match the meaning to its meaning. The vocabulary to its meaning, sorry. Let's go ahead and check now. The nest is a structure made or chosen by animals to lay its eggs. A predator is an animal that naturally preys on others. They usually eat other animals. Raise means to bring up or nurture. For example, we raise children. Animals raise the young animals. To store food is to accumulate food. And survive is to continue to live or exist. Okay, great. Now that you know these meanings, let's continue. Please go to student book page 42. Exercise B. Here, we're going to complete the chart using the bold words and collocations in the documentary on part A. For example, what phrases or words refer to survival, food and sleep? Which ones refer to having young, like the babies? Which ones refer to homes and groups? Pause the video, then come back to check. Okay, so we have be attacked by predators, build up fat reserves, go into hibernation, hibernate, keep warm, migration, store food, survive the winter months, and feed for survival. For having young, we have lay an egg, breeding grounds, breeding habits, eggs hatch, lay eggs, mate, and raise young. For homes and groups, we have a colony, build a nest, and dig a burrow. Did you get this right? Perfect. Now, here we need to complete the descriptions about animals. For example, many animals hatch or lay eggs and keep them warm. They lay eggs and then they keep them warm so eventually they can hatch. Now do 2, 3, and 4, then come back to check. 2. Bears and groundhogs hibernate during winter. Some animals mate for life and have just one partner. Some animals don't even raise the young. They just leave them to survive on their own. Okay, now let's go to workbook page 26, exercise A. Here, you need to match the words in bold with the words that have a similar meaning. Some sentences have two answers. Let's look at number 1. The European rabbit lives in large groups in Spain, Portugal, and parts of Africa. What could be a synonym for large groups? That's right. Letter C, colonies. Now pause the video and work on the rest. Okay, we'll check in class. Now, let's work on exercise B. Here, you need to complete the poster about the monarch butterflies using the words in the box. Remember that you can only use the words once. Pause the video. Okay, we're going to check in class. I will see you then. Bye-bye!